Hello everybody, this is Judge Kayla Smith, and today I will be judging the AQHA Halter. How I'm going to do this is I'm just going to show the side profile of each horse and then talk about the horse. I'm not going to show the tracking or each side profile just due to convenience of time, but if I see if I thought there's something worth noting, I will say it. Um, I will also be introducing each exhibitor and the horse as I talk about them. So please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. I really don't mean to. I apologize in advance. So let's get started. Our first exhibitor is Don Strohecker with IC Employment. And this is a really impressive gelding. Um, he is incredible balance. He's super even throughout his thirds. He has great muscling, a good muscle pattern throughout. It's very even. He's remarkable in his quality. He ties in really high and is really clean in his throat latch and is short and refined through his eye and muzzle. Our second exhibitor is McKenna Bowen with Designed by Kid. This gelding here is really straight down his front leg, and it's really nice. He really locks out his knees. He does get a little bit camped under in his hind legs, causing him to track in a little bit different. And then he is pretty decent in his shoulder, but he does get long in his back and steep in his hip, and is coarse about his head and neck. Our next exhibitor is Kathy McGaffey with I'm One Awesome Fella. Levelness over the top line is super important to me in terms of balance. So when I see this horse, I do notice that he is a little bit unbalanced. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he is pretty even throughout his thirds. He has a really nice shoulder. He does get a little bit long in his back, but nothing too critical. And he is pretty solid in his structure. He does toe out a little bit in the hind, but the front legs, he's really straight and locks out really nicely. Our next exhibitor is I'm One Awesome Jazz with Kathy McGaffey. And this is a really impressive horse here. They're really balanced. It's really even in his thirds. He ties in high. And is really awesome in his quality. He's really short and refined from eye and muzzle. He ties in high. He's really balanced, and he has really nice structure down his front and his hind legs. Our next exhibitor is Corey Hall with Decadent Chocolate. As I said previously, levelness over the top line is really important to me when it comes to balance, and this horse just seems to be a little bit unlevel from wither to croup. But he is really nice in his structure. He is straight from hip to hock to heel and down the front legs. Our next exhibitor is Melissa Bell with ZZ Talkin' Radical. This is a really nice gelding. He's really even in his thirds. He's good in his muscle pattern. He's solid in his structure as he locks out in his front knees and is straight from hip to hock to heel. He does get a little bit steep in his front pasterns, but that's just me kind of being nitpicky. I wish he would also tie in a little bit cleaner in his throat latch and was a little bit more refined about his head, but he's a really overall pretty good gelding here. Our next exhibitor is Lillian Bullard with Kiss Me With Care. This horse just seems to be a little bit not unlevel, but he is a little unbalanced in terms of dividing him into thirds. He gets a little bit steep in his hip, causing him to be a little bit longer in his back. But he does seem to be pretty good in his structure. He tracked in all right, and he stood there and locked out on all four legs. Our next exhibitor is Brielle Betts with the Machinist. This gelding here, he has a pretty decent shoulder, but he does get a little bit steep in his hip, I think also causing him to be a little bit longer over his top line. And I'd like to see him tie in a little bit higher in his neck and just have a little bit more quality. But he does have pretty good structure. He's straight down his front and his hind legs. Our next exhibitor is Nicole Zazula with Huntin' a Hot One. And this is a really nice gelding here. He's pretty even in his thirds. He's a really nice shoulder. And it's really good structure. The only thing I would change about him is I wish that he was a little bit higher in his quality. He does tie in really nice to his in his neck, but I just wish his head was a little bit more refined and just a little bit cleaner in his throat latch. Our next exhibitor is Laura Linder with Gata Bueno Deal. This is a really nice buckskin here. He's pretty balanced. He's pretty even in his thirds. He may get a little bit long in his back, but it's nothing super critical. He also locks out really well and tracks really straight. And he's really good structure from his hind and his front legs. The thing that I would change about this horse is also his quality. He does tie in pretty high, but he's pretty coarse-headed. And I just wish that it was a little bit more refined. Our last exhibitor is Maria Rising with He's So Extreme. This horse has a pretty good shoulder. He's pretty laid back, and he has good even muscle pattern throughout. And his nice structure. He does get a little bit camped under in his hind end, but down his front leg, he locks out really well and tracks in pretty straight. I also wish this horse was just a little bit more refined with his head and neck, as he ties in a little bit lower. So my placings for this class, in first place, we have Dawn Strohecker with IC Employment. In second place, we have Kathy McGaffey with I'm One Awesome Jazz. In third place, we have Melissa Bell with ZZ Talkin' Radical. In fourth place, we have Kathy McGaffey with I'm One Awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. In fourth place, we have Nicole Zazula with Huntin' a Hot One. In fifth place, we have Laura Linder with Gata Bueno Deal. In sixth place, we have Brielle Betts with The Machinist. In seventh place, I have Maria Rising with He's So Extreme. In eighth place, I have Kathy McGaffey with I'm One Awesome Fella. In ninth place, I have Corey Hall with Decadent Chocolate. In 10th place, I have Lillian Bullard with Kiss Me With Care. And in 11th place, I have McKenna Bowen with Designed by Kid. Thank you guys so much for your entries and participating in the show. And thank you for letting me judge you guys. It's truly an honor, and we really appreciate you. Congratulations to everybody, and thank you so much again.